Just take a moment here to settle onto our mat, onto our back body, onto something underneath the shoulder blades so that we can begin to open up the chest. We can begin to let those shoulder tips counter all that rounding that we do all day long and really be able to bring some breath into the body. So legs right now can be in any position that's comfortable for you. Constructive rest where the knees teepee, or maybe you feel more open in the hips and you want to take a supine butterfly. So find your good leg position. Let yourself come back. Close down the eyes. Maybe find a block to support the head. And as always, when we arrive, we check in. We check in to the physical body, how we slept, how hydrated we are, any tightness or tension that we feel in the body. And then as we just continue a normal pace, a normal rhythm of breath, we check in with the emotional body. Just noticing any feelings that are present, excitement for something that might be happening today, or maybe a little bit of fear for the quote unknown. So check in with that emotional side of you. And again, come to the breath. Just let the breath naturally move through you. And then notice the mind, the mental body. What load is it carrying today? Setting aside any need to answer emails, texts, compile grocery lists or to-do lists. Again, see if you can give the mind the job to just watch that normal breath move in and out of your body. So we let the breath settle down, the physical, the emotional, the mental. And as the mind watches the breath will just naturally increase in space and in length. So again, breathing in through the nose. Maybe you feel the palms rise, and maybe you feel the body gently deflate and melt on the exhale. And let's stay for 3 more centering breaths. Beautiful. We'll bring the knees back together at center and roll over to one side. Remove anything that you have from underneath the shoulders. Come back onto the back body. And as you come onto the back body, just take a nice stretch here, arms overhead, feet are long, finding some space in the ribs, through the quads, the top of the feet. And then planting the feet into that bridge position, your supported bridge of choice. So I'm going to use a block, but if the block, again, does not feel comfortable, even with a blanket or towel over it, maybe use that rolled up towel underneath the sacrum to get the lift. So we're going to press into our feet, use the back of our arms, lift up the hips, and then slide the support for your bridge right underneath. So right at that sacrum. It's not the flesh of the buns. It's not the low back. The knees, the thighs are parallel to each other. The feet are parallel. We can actually press through those knees towards the back of the mat just to begin to feel the length from the knees to the hips. Notice here that the weight is strictly in the upper shoulders, not in the top of the head. No constriction in the neck. You can breathe fully. And as you settle here, just again, take that little scan, that physical scan. How does this feel? How can I make it feel better? How is my breath? That emotional side that says, I really don't like this pose. And the mental side that says, well, maybe I kind of need it. So again, this is a restorative. The hips are higher than the heart. So the heart doesn't have to work quite as much. And let's all enjoy 3 rounds of breath here. Your arm position, hands again, can rest right on the body. If you feel more open through the chest, then you want to come into that cactus position where the elbows are bent at a 90 degrees, elbows straight out from the shoulders, and the back of the forearms, the back of the hands lightly rest on the mat. Drawing in a nice full deep breath, let's lift the right leg up towards the ceiling. And let's lift the left leg up towards the ceiling. Let's flex through the feet so that the heels press high, the toes flare down towards your shins. Just notice, again, a little bit of a scoop in the belly and a softness in the chest. And then just wake up those ankles, circle one direction and the other. We'll take that point, the big toes reaching towards that ceiling, followed by that flex, waking up the calves. So moving between a point, top of the feet spreading, to the flex, back of the ankle, that dorsiflexion, back and forth. And just returning to a comfortable foot position, spread those toes as wide as you can, the big toe as far away from that little toe as you can get it, and then draw it in like you could make a fist here. Again, spreading through the metatarsals, those bones on the top of the foot, open up wide, getting some blood flow, circulation into those toe joints, and then pinch them in. Good. And then roll out those ankles one last time, any direction. And return to a flex. And again, really mindfully flex here. So you feel the whole line down, not only just the calves, but now beginning to engage the hamstrings. You can switch out that arm position if you'd like. We're just going to let those legs fall right and left, a big wide V, a big wide V. No force, just focus. Just focus here on letting the legs land where they want to land. And we let the weight of those legs and gravity do all the work. Your only job here is to just breathe and find some ease in the pose. Enjoy 2 breaths. If you want to add just a little to this, you can pick up those arms, bring the inner arms to rest inside those inner thighs. Again, it's just the weight of the arms adding a little bit more resistance here. No pressure at all. One more breath. And return the arms to your favorite arm position. Point those toes out on a diagonal. Again, feeling the stretch here, the shin, the front of the ankle, the top of the foot. And slowly draw those legs back together. We're going to call this our neutral position, legs up, no wall. Take a flex, take a breath, let the legs fall. Point the toes, take a breath, draw the legs together. So just flow through this nice and easy. Again, there's no strain in the upper body and the belly's nice and soft. Always permission to stay with the legs in a wide V if that feels like a really good opening for you, or legs up towards the ceiling. So find a couple more. And we'll all meet back, legs up. So now we're going to take that half circle with our legs, really working that femur into our hip socket, working the outside of the hips as well. Please change your arm position. If you were in cactus, maybe tee out the arms this time, palms down, so that you get a stretch through those forearms. And here, bring the right leg towards the top of your mat as you drop the left leg towards the bottom of your mat. I'm pointing through both of my toes, and I'm just feeling into my range of motion before we begin. Drawing in a deep breath, the legs are going to go wide to the side, and we're just going to reverse that so that the left leg comes towards the top of the mat and the right leg extends long. And then on your own with your breath, take those half circles. Maybe you cross over that middle line and just feel into the outer hips. The next time the left leg is forward, pause there. See if you can lower the right leg down just a little bit more towards the mat, just beginning to bring some sensation into that right hip flexor. Again, my right leg is floating right now, but I am getting that stretch just to begin to open the psoas muscle there. And then switch it around out to the side slowly. Left leg comes forward as we hover, the right leg's forward, left leg hovers. Again, that same stretch coming through the inner thigh here. Just pause. And then roll it. We'll just back and forth here. Just flow it one more time. And we'll bring those legs back to the starting point. We'll drop the feet down back into that bridge position. As you arrive in the bridge position, bring your focus to your quads. So maybe here, as you scoop that belly in, tighten through the glutes, you can feel the activation of those quads from the hip points to the knee. Just pause here. And we'll find that figure four, bend into that right knee, right ankle comes over the left thigh. Just pause, let that right knee fall out. Absolutely no wasted effort here. The knee is just falling out. You might begin to feel that sensation of wrapping around the right hip. Enjoy that, breathe into that. And depending on whatever you're using as support under your supported bridge, I have a block. I'm just going to bring my hand to my block just so I can hold onto it there as I lift my right leg up. So again, left leg is extended, right leg is still in that figure four shape. And then I'm slowly going to lower the left leg down towards the mat, keeping that ankle glued right onto the left thigh. And as I bring the left leg down, maybe the heel touches down, maybe I can slide that heel away. And just with the weight of that right ankle resting, I deepen that stretch through the quad, through the hip flexor. If it's too much, keep that knee bent, planting the foot somewhere along the line. Taking in a few breaths. Good. Really now engage your core. We're going to lift that left leg back up to the ceiling. Take a bend into the left knee. Let the left knee just fall to the glutes. Re-straighten the leg back towards the ceiling. Again, let it fall. Just bringing some motion into the knee joint. And then this last one, we'll go ahead, just plant the left foot back down. Take a moment here. Hips are level. Just let the right knee fall in. Unravel and come back to that figure four, to the bridge position. Again, pressing the knees away, re-leveling the hips. We're going to just take figure four shape on the left side now. So the left ankle is going to just prop itself over onto the right thigh. Left knee is just going to fall wherever it wants to fall to the left. And here, notice maybe it's a little more open on this side. Maybe the knee falls out a little bit more. Maybe it's a little more challenging this side. So again, we use the breath, we use our focus, see where we can soften. Allow one more, inhale and exhale. And then again, I'm going to hold on to my support underneath me as I lift the right leg up towards the ceiling. Figure four with a straight right leg. Drawing that right leg in even closer just accentuates the stretch through the left hip. And then very slow, I'm going to take the right leg down towards the mat. The heel coming closer to the mat. If it touches, press the heel away. If it doesn't touch, just let it float, but keep that foot nice and flexed. Left ankle providing just a little bit more weight onto the right thigh. Again, enjoy the opening here, the quad, the hip flexor. Nice soft shoulders, nice soft face, nice soft breath. As we engage the core now, we're going to bring the right leg back up towards the ceiling. Good, maybe drawing it in just a little bit further. And then as you point the right toes, just take a bend into that right knee, let it slowly fall down, heel towards the glute. Taking the inhale, let's extend it back up. Just moving nice and easy through the right knee. Lifting and lowering. And then we'll plant the right foot down on the mat, pausing once again in that figure four shape, letting that left knee just fall out. And then release the left anchor, coming back to that bridge position. We're going to extend both legs long now. So not only is this a big stretch for the hip flexors, but it's also a very passive back bend. So taking your time, maybe slide one foot out. The legs don't have to come straight. We want the feet to go flat on the mat. So slide them any amount that you can. Begin to notice maybe the back bend. And as long as it's not pinching, just breathe here. Hip flexors, the whole front of our pelvis from hip point to hip point, getting a nice stretch. And then one at a time, sliding the feet back towards the hips, back to that bridge position. Hips are level. We're going to press into the feet, lift those hips high, and remove whatever you're using from underneath. Slowly bring the spine back down to the mat. Pause as it arrives. Again, let the spine just sink into the mat. Let those hips level out. Then walk the feet wide on the mat. And just take a windshield wiper. So just bringing some movement to the low back, into the spine. At the same time, rinsing out our hips. And the next time the knees are over to one side, take a roll onto that side body so that you can bring yourself up to a tabletop position. Padding under the knees if you need to pad and protect the knees here. Stacking through our joints and finding our tabletop. So spreading the fingers, scooping in the belly, and then just move through your choice of a cat-cow. So move slowly through the spine, from that tailbone all the way up the spinal cord. As you press into those palms, find space between the shoulder blades. As you inhale and you lift that tailbone and chest, find the space in the front body as you drop the belly. And then just move in between either of those. Returning to a neutral table, we're going to send the right foot long behind us, press through that heel. Again, a nice opening through the back of the ankle and the calf. As you draw the belly in, pick up that back right leg and just bring it off the mat to the left. Take a moment as you press into your palms, keep the shoulders at the same straight with the top of the mat, and maybe gaze over the left shoulder to look at the right big toe. Beginning to open up the side body here. Take in 2 breaths. Return the right leg to that bird dog position. Stretching now, hips nice and level, foot is flexed. And we're going to take it right over to that gate pose. So the leg comes out to the side, removing any props that are in your way. Again, pressing into the palms here. Take a moment, shift the hips back halfway, hover. Bringing some strength into that left quad, some length into the right inner thigh, and draw it back up. And one more time, let those hips fall back, and then draw up. Walk the hands back towards the body. This is a good place for blocks if you have your blocks handy. So as you walk your hands back towards the body, bring them to the waist so you can come to a kneeling position on the left knee. If you gaze down, your right foot, knee, hip are in alignment, and we're going to do our best to keep our booty in so that it's not sticking out behind us. Take a deep breath in, lift the arms, and lift the gaze. Drop the right arm to the outside of the right thigh. Slide that hand down as you open up the left side body. 2 full breaths. Elbows back. Next inhale, lifts both arms, lift the gaze. Left arm's going to drop down to the mat or your block, and we're going to take a modified side plank here. So really press down through the right heel as you reach through the left fingers. Keep the elbow back, chest is lifted, breath is flowing. And then we're going to alternate. So push off that bottom palm, bring yourself up, re-extend up, and then drop that arm and take the lean. Your breath, your body now. As you come up, take it the opposite way. Come up in the opposite way. Re-extend up last time. Drop it over. Really see if you can press through that foot, find all that length. And then inhale, arms return. Bring them to your waist as we switch sides. So maybe coming into a cat and cow, changing it up this time, maybe rolling through the torso. A couple breaths, feeling into the spine. And then we'll take that left foot back, resting on the ball of the foot, really pressing that heel away. Re-engage the palms as you find space between the shoulder blades, scoop in the belly, nice straight spine. And we're going to pick up that back leg again, bring it across to the right, square your shoulders off to the front of the mat, and then take a gaze over the left shoulder to gaze at the right toes. 2 breaths here. Next inhale, pick up the left leg, bring it back to that bird dog position. Again, draw the belly in, a nice firm core. And then send that leg out to the left, toes pointing forward. Again, that alignment, if you can, heel to the knees, the booty is in, good. Draw in the belly, shift the hips back, maybe halfway, pause there for a breath. Back toes are tucked, so we're getting a little 2 for 1 here. Bring it up. Again, send it back one last time. And then come back to neutral and walk those hands back towards the body. Hands come to the waist or the hip crease. Good, adjust your blocks if you're using them. Inhale, reach the arms up. So find the extension from those hip points. Drop the left arm now to the outer left thigh and just let it slide as you take a nice opening through the right side body. Big breaths here. Maybe you feel the ribs expand. Notice you're not collapsing through the chest. Inhale, arms extend. On the exhale, drop the right arm down to a block or your mat. Find your modified side plank here. Long line here from the heel through the fingers. Notice the position here of your hips. Everything's forward. And then we're going to flow. So press off that bottom palm, lift yourself back. Side bend over to the left. As you're ready, the inhale will bring you up and the exhale will take you over. We're going to take 3, nice and slow. And last one. We'll meet. Arms extend up, gaze extends up. Bring the hands to the waist. Draw in the left knee. Come to your tabletop, cat and cow. Walking the hands back toward your knees. Press into your palms, lift your hips up for a forward fold at the back of your mat. And this time in your forward fold, bring your feet wider than your mat. Pigeon toe, the toes in, the heels out. So not as far as a wide angle, but enough of a wide angle that you have a lot of space to work with. So taking in a breath, find a halfway lift here. Nice straight spine, tailbone, spinal cord to the crown of the head. Squeeze the shoulder blades together so the shoulder tips fall away and then fold down. So today we're going to try to keep the weight out of our hands. Same movement, just like a down dog. Halfway lift and fold. Take one more half lift. Again, blocks are there to bring the floor up to you if you need it. Otherwise, your fingertips assist and then refold down. Keeping the hips in that place, walk the hands forward. So we're not coming into a down dog. We're pressing those hips back to stay right over the ankles and walking the hands forward. And as you walk those hands forward, relax those shoulders down towards the mat. Maybe you feel some length in the soft tissue under the arms. Relax the chest. And most important, relax the head. So you're not trying to hold the neck, the head up, putting any strain in the neck. Take one more breath, draw the belly in, see if you can crawl it out just a little bit further. Tailbone one direction, fingers the other. Next breath, walk the hands back underneath the shoulders. Flip the fingertips around so they face behind you. And just begin to walk those hands towards the back of the mat. Again, gentle bend in the knees. Don't lock the knees out, but let that head hang. Crown of the head towards the mat, the neck nice and loose. Walking those hands back underneath the shoulders. Option here to grab a block right underneath the face. Place the left hand on that block or the left palm flat on your mat. As you scoop in the belly, we're going to take the right arm out to the side and up overhead. Take a twirl through the wrist. Keep that spine nice and long. Make a fist with the hands and then flare those fingers as far wide as you can. Again, make that fist, flare the fingers. Circle through the wrist one more time, both ways. And then flick the fingers as fast as you can, just bringing in some blood flow, just like you were flicking off water. We'll find a half bind now. So we're going to take that right arm up towards the ceiling, take a bend into that elbow, bring the back of the hand to the back body or maybe the far waist as you press in gently. Allow that to help with the rotation over towards the right. Again, notice there's a gentle bend in the knees. Find the breath here. Good. Releasing the bind, re-extend the arms like you could stack a straight line through the shoulders. And then slowly lower the right arm down. Right hand will replace the left on a block or your mat. Taking a moment, taking a full breath. Again, redraw the belly in as the left arm goes out and up. Gaze can be straight down at that hand. Get some relief through that left wrist, circle through one way and the other. Flare the fingers wide and draw them into a fist. Again, wide fingers, draw them in. Circle through the wrist, again, both ways. Flick the fingers, again, just like water coming off of them as fast as you can. And then lift that arm to the ceiling, bend the elbow, find your half bind here. Press through that bottom palm. Use the bind to assist in the rotation. Adjust your gaze so it's comfortable with your neck. Enjoy 3 rounds of breath here. We'll gently release the bind, re-extend the arm. Again, reach towards that ceiling. And then slowly lower the left arm. Both hands down, walk the hands back underneath the shoulders. Bring the hands to the ankle. One last stretch here. Use the grip around the ankle or the calf to draw the chest closer to the thighs, the crown of the head closer to your mat. Hands return underneath the shoulders. Heel toe of the feet back to center. Drop down onto your knees and over to one hip. Good. Extend the legs out in front of you in Dandasana pose, staff pose. Hands to the outer hips. Press through those fingertips or palms to really lift the chest forward. Flex those feet. Press the heels away. Flare the toes. Active engagement. Quads, calves, feet. Inhale, lifts the arms, lifts the gaze. Find your fold. Straight spine, hands land where the hands land. Wherever they land, whether it's on your shins or your ankles, grab a hold. And again, use that clasp to help you draw the chest forward towards your feet. Your gaze here is past your toes. It's not a head to knee pose. This is length through the back of the legs. But at the same time, as you draw the chest forward with a straight spine, you soften those shoulders. You might be able to feel the wrap from the hamstrings through the glutes, that piriformis muscle into the low back. As you draw the belly in just a little bit more, as you use that leverage of your hands and draw the chest forward, notice what you notice here. Breathe and relax. We'll release that effort now. Hands beside the outside of the calves. Slide the hands towards your hips. Past your hips as you come onto your forearms. Pause on your forearms. Press into those elbows. Find an arch in the spine. Lift the chest. Drop the head. Moment to open up the throat. Release any tension in the jaw. Draw a nice full breath. Chest is wide open here. Big breath in. And nice and easy, just begin to curl down nice and slow. Coming onto the back body, sweep the arms overhead. Find the stretch first. Then draw the knees into the chest. Take a rock from one hip bone to the other. Again, feel into the shoulders and the back body and the hips. Slowing that down, coming into our happy baby here. So let those knees go wide. Arms inside the knees to reach for the ankle, the shin, the blade edge of the foot. Draw the soles of the feet up towards the ceiling. Press the hands into the feet into the hands. Take a moment, lift the head, tuck the chin in so you have some length in the neck. Option here, you can rock side to side. You can bring some core activation by rocking even further to one side so that you really have to use that core to get yourself back to center. Just as we started, we'll find that big wide V, letting the heels go off on a diagonal, flexing through the feet. And again, we just let the feet fall where they want to fall. Take a full breath. And draw the legs together overhead. So your toes are pointing down towards your head. Your heels are high. Forward fold on your back. So just take a moment here. See if you can feel the entire spine nice and long. And then we'll slowly, slowly, slowly come into that supine Baddha Konasana cobbler pose. So halfway down, you're kind of like hanging in that cobbler pose. And then slowly dropping the blade edge of the feet to the mat. Allowing the knees to go wide, that closing down of the eyes. Another scan into the body. So no effort in holding the knees now. We should be opening up here to make this a very relaxing pose. One more breath. And then we'll use the hands outside the thighs to draw those thighs together. The knees are bent and the feet are planted. Pick up your hips, slide them over to the right, maybe an inch or so. Draw the knees into the chest, and at the same time, let them fall over to the left. So here, the knees are at least the level of the navel. We're trying to stack through the hips, one hip bone on top of the other. Relaxing the shoulders, maybe taking the gaze to the opposite side to complete the twist through the spine. Notice where you feel this, and notice where maybe utilizing the breath can soften the pose for you. If you want a little bit more, you can extend that top leg out long. Maybe the left hand helps support that leg as it stretches. Without changing the shoulders at all, maybe the bottom foot comes in towards the glute as you reach for the pant leg or the big toe. That bottom knee pointing towards the bottom of the mat. So just a different kind of a stretch. But again, really securing that upper body. Shoulders remain nice and easy. Enjoy another breath. Releasing that top leg. If you're holding it, releasing the big toe. Bring the legs to stack back together. Use that core to draw the knees back up. Lift the tailbone. See if you can bring the hips back to center. And then drop the feet back down. Level everything out. Next breath, we'll just take it to the other side. So we'll gently lift those hips, send them over to the left, maybe an inch or two. Draw the knees into the chest and drop them over to the right. Again, focus on your shoulders and softening the upper body. Arms can extend out in your T position. If you took the alternate stretch on the other side where you extended that top leg, maybe the right hand reaches down to support that leg in a nice straight position. Maybe you scoot in that right foot so that you can reach down. Maybe secure it with the left hand. Again, if it feels good, the rotation in the neck. And 5 breaths to settle in. See where you can release and soften into the pose. If you're holding on to the top leg, gently release. Bring that knee back, release the other toe, Again, engage that core. Bring the knees back up to your chest, squeeze them in. Maybe as you squeeze, you lift the shoulders and the head off of the mat. Find a nice, tight ball. And then one leg at a time, we'll extend out into our final resting pose of Shavasana. You can take a traditional Shavasana. If you have a couch or a coffee table or an ottoman and you want to take the version of legs up the wall by resting those calves on the chair, the ottoman, or the coffee table, just adding some weight into the hips, that's also an option. And also, just even for digestion, taking your bolster or your rolled up blanket or towel underneath the belly. So a belly down Shavasana. So the legs are extended, the arms, the hands stack one on top of each other, and you rest the head on the hands. Wherever you are, take a moment to release any clenching. Notice the glutes, notice the face, shoulders soften, the eyes close down. And back to the old rhythm of breath. We check in again with that physical, emotional, and mental body. Let everything relax. And this is where I'll leave you this morning. We'll turn off our device so we could spend just a few moments with ourselves before we step off our mat and into our day. The hardest yoga practice is not on our mat. It's working through all the other limbs of yoga as we step out into the world, trying to bring in some kindness and compassion and non-harm. Namaste, my friends.